Okay, so you know how everyone's talking about real estate going digital?
Yeah, it's been,
Well, today
yeah.
we're going to dive into all that.
Absolutely
Specifically, we're going to be looking at a company called EstateX.
interesting.
We found this article called Pasted Text that's got some pretty interesting stuff about them.
Cool. Yeah, I'm familiar with EstateX. I've been following them for a bit. It's pretty fascinating what they're doing.
Yeah, and you know what's really caught my eye?
What's that?
This whole idea of democratizing real estate investment.
Hmm.
You know, for a long time, if you wanted to get into real estate, you had to have a ton of money.
Yeah,
You had to have a ton of time to manage property.
right. You had to be a landlord, basically, right?
Yeah, exactly. And EstateX is saying that they're going to change all that.
Right.
That they're going to make it so that anyone can invest in property.
Exactly.
Like even using just digital platforms.
Yeah, and I think that's something that really appeals to a lot of people, especially, younger generations who are comfortable with technology.
Right. And maybe they don't want to deal with the hassle of being a landlord.
Exactly.
But I'm kind of wondering, how do they ensure that everything is secure and transparent
Yeah, that's a good question.
with a system like that?
Well, that's where blockchain comes in.
Okay, I know a little about blockchain, but
Yeah.
how are they using it in this case?
Right, so you're probably familiar with the basics, but in this case, it's not just about secure record keeping. It's
Yeah.
about how do you actually own a piece of a property digitally?
Right.
Like, how does that
How do you
happen?
prove that you own it?
Exactly. And so EstateX uses blockchain to create what are called smart contracts.
Okay.
And these are basically digital agreements that automatically execute when certain conditions are met.
So does that mean when you buy a share of a property through EstateX, you're not just getting a note in their system,
Exactly.
it's an actual legally binding contract on the blockchain.
Exactly. And you can actually see the transaction history of your property share. On a blockchain explorer, you can go and look it up, and it's all public. It's a public ledger. And this offers a level of transparency that we've just never really seen before in real estate.
It's really a game changer.
Totally. No more wondering where your money's going,
Right.
or if you actually own what you think you own.
Right. And I've always been a little hesitant about real estate because it's not very liquid.
Right.
If you need to get your money out quickly, it's hard to sell property.
Yeah, it's a very illiquid asset traditionally.
Does EstateX address that at all?
They do, and this is where their approach to fractional ownership gets really interesting.
Okay.
So instead of having to buy an entire property,
Right.
you can actually buy digital shares of it,
Okay.
kind of like buying stock in a company.
So if you and I wanted to go in on a vacation home together,
Right.
we could each buy a fraction of it.
Exactly. That's essentially what EstateX is doing, but on a larger scale
Okay.
and with digital shares that you can actually trade on a marketplace.
So you're not stuck if you need your money back.
Exactly. It brings a level of liquidity to the market that's pretty revolutionary for real estate.
And you know what else I think is really interesting about this?
What's that?
It seems like it would appeal to younger investors who are already used to trading stocks online.
Absolutely. And I think that's a big part of EstateX's strategy. They're really catering to this new generation of investors who are comfortable with technology.
And they want to see what's happening with their investments in real time.
Right. They want to be able to track everything online and through apps.
Right. But it's important to point out that EstateX isn't the only company doing this.
Right.
There are other platforms out there using a similar model.
Yeah, we're seeing a real trend here.
So this is something worth keeping an eye on.
Absolutely.
So to sum it up, it seems like technology like blockchain
Yeah,
is making real estate more transparent and secure.
for sure.
And then these new models like fractional ownership are making it more accessible to people who maybe couldn't afford to invest before.
Exactly.
And they're also making it more liquid.
It's a whole new world of opportunity.
This has been a really fascinating look at EstateX and digital real estate.
Yeah.
I don't know about you, but it's really got me thinking about new ways to invest.
Yeah, me too.
I'd love to know what our listeners think.
Yeah,
Has this sparked any new ideas for you? We always encourage you to do your own research
absolutely.
and to think carefully about the risks and rewards before you make any investment decisions.
Especially with something this new.
Yeah,
It's important to be cautious.
but it's also exciting to see what's happening in this space.
Yeah, for sure.
And who knows what the future holds for real estate.
Who knows, but it's going to be interesting to see.
Right.
Definitely.
Well, thanks for joining us for this deep dive.
My pleasure.
We'll see you next time.
See you then. Bye.
Bye.
Foo.
Oh, and in case I don't see you, good afternoon, good evening, and good night.